Hello, my name is Vince Alexander. I am the Chicago Cub fan of Indianapolis, Indiana, and I'm still a little bit disappointed, just like a lot of Cub fans are, in the fact that my team won 95 games and did not make the playoffs. And I just want to congratulate them on the 95 victories. I thoroughly enjoyed watching my Cubs play. They were very competitive throughout the year, which is what I like to see. We were in the hunt. We contended for the National League Central Division Championship, and that's all you can ask. But I have a couple recommendations on some things I think that could help the Cubs. First of all, I think we need a dynamic leadoff man who's going to make an impact at the top of the lineup. I know a lot of people think that the leadoff man is not important, but I'm going to show and prove to you that the leadoff man is very, very important. Just to give you an idea how important it is, Mookie Betts, just of the Boston Red Sox, just won the National League the American League Most Valuable Player Award, and he was the leadoff man for the world champion Boston Red Sox. And he had a great season. You can just look it up, Mookie Betts. When the Cubs won the World Series championship, wearing the championship hat, they had a dynamic leadoff man by the name of Dexter Fowler, a person that the Cubs still haven't replaced at the leadoff spot, which is very crucial to the success for the Cubs because they have plenty of RBI guys and power hitting guys in the 2 through 8 positions. But the thing is, they need someone to set the table. I have a person that I've been kind of researching who's under the radar, who I think would make a great leadoff man for the Chicago Cubs. Someone you probably never heard of, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. His name is Mallex Smith. Mallex Smith. He plays for the Tampa Bay Rays. He's 25 years old. He's a lefty. He's 5'10", 180 pounds. Last year he hit .296. He had 40 stolen bases. Cub fans, 40 stolen bases. The person who led the Cubs in stolen bases last year, Javier Baez, he had 21 stolen bases. No other Cub had more than 8 or 9. So we need someone who's going to get on base and not just stand there. We need someone who's going to get on base and be a threat to steal second base and also give other people who follow him more fastballs to hit. Okay? So I'm recommending Mallex Smith of the Tampa Bay Rays. Some kind of trade, I don't care, some kind of trade to get him because he had .296, had 40 stolen bases, and had an on-base percentage of .367, and he's only 25 years old. He would make a great addition to the Cubs, and he would play in center field. So that would change the Cubs lineup dramatically because we'd have speed at the top of the order. And also, if you need to platoon, if you think he needs a break, you can bring in Albert Almora, any kind of right-hander to give him a change, give the lineup a change of pace at the top of the lineup. Let's look at last year's lineup. Toward the end of the year, we had Daniel Murphy, second base, Javier Baez, shortstop, Chris Bryant, third base, Anthony Rizzo, first base, Wilson Contreras, catcher, Kyle Schwarber, left field, Jason Hayward, right field, Albert Almora, center field. John Lester probably was our top of the rotation pitcher. So we got a new lineup change if you go with my recommendation with Mallex Smith at center field and leading off. Major problems that the Cubs had was with our starting pitching and our pitching in general. we made some major mistakes in the free agent market when we picked up Yu Darvish, Tyler Chatwood, and Brandon Morrow. Those guys just did not do the job, mostly because of injury, not having a reliable closer. Really hurt the Cubs. The Cubs had to really do some mixing and matching. And, overall, that was great. They did a good job of doing that. However, you need a dominant closer in that ninth inning who is going to do a great job, and we just didn't have it. The other thing is right-handed pitching, right-handed starting pitching. We were too lefty dominant from the starting pitching perspective. Just to give you an idea, let's look at the rotation. The rotation we had just too many lefties, and I'm trying to find my little cheat sheet of here we go. We had John Lester, we had Cole Hamels, Kyle Hendricks, Jose Quintana, Mike Montgomery. The only right-hander in that lineup was Kyle Hendricks. Think of all the great right-handed hitters in the National League that got to feast on the Cubs lefties. Even though they were effective in general, the righties killed us. And I'm thinking about the right-handers for Milwaukee, the Brewers. That's what killed us. So we need Yu Darvish to come back and have a strong season next year. We got to have that, okay? And if you need to get a backup plan, we need to find someone young, a good young prospect, right-hander, who could come in and do something if Yu Darvish breaks down again. So we have to correct that in the pitching department. Our relievers in general were great. Middle relievers, the guys that we put in the ninth, when Pedro Strop and people like that, they did a great job. And in fact, Pedro Strop was outstanding, 6-1 with a 2.26 ERA. He saved 13 out of the 17 save opportunities. Steve Cechek was great, 4-3, 2.18 ERA in 80 games. But another thing that the Cubs really need, and this is something that they can't control, and that's injuries. Chris Bryant, shoulder, he was out. He missed way too many games. It really hurt his effectiveness. Just way too many injuries to some of our starting regular guys. We need a bounce-back year from Chris Bryant. We need a bounce-back year from Wilson Contreras. Wilson Contreras' power numbers were way down. We need more support from our minor league system. Many of the minor league guys that we called up, especially in the pitching department, just were inadequate. Again, I'm just trying to give baseball people something else to think about other than what they might read in the local newspapers or on MLB.com or something like that, because I do consider myself a great baseball fan. Been following baseball for over 40 years. I've been a Cub fan for over 40 years. So sometimes I think fans need to have a different perspective on things. But I think the biggest thing that I think we really need to change is how we look at the leadoff position. We can't have someone who just comes in and has a great on-base percentage. We can't just sit there and not be a threat on the bases. We need someone who can go from first to third on a hit in the gap. We need someone who can definitely score from second base. We need someone who is going to get in the pitcher's head. As you baseball fans know, a lot of it is mental. But we need bounce-back years from people like Chris Bryant and Wilson Contreras. And then we also need to get more production from Jason Hayward. I mean, the guy looks great in a baseball uniform. He's 6'5", 235, 240. he has got to generate more power. We need 20, 25 home runs from him every year. But I have a feeling that next year will be his last year in a Cubs uniform. At this point, because of the salary, there's no way someone's going to want to trade for him because of his salary. With that being said, the other guy we got to have a bounce-back year from is Brandon Morrow. If he's going to be the closer, we need him to come in and close. We need 95 to 97 miles per hour with his fastball, and then any other kind of all-speed pitch would be great. But we've got to have a bounce-back year from Brandon Morrow. With that being said, Cubs fan, that's all I got for right now. Stay tuned. I'll be following any other trades and that kind of thing, and then I'll have a response. Again, go Cubs.